All right, this is a video for tattoo artists, apprentices, and anybody interested in the products that I use during my tattooing. If you're just the average customer, you're probably not interested in this too much. The only thing that I'd tell you about is Sanoderm. Awesome product for healing tattoos. Definitely recommend it. Love it. It made my life easier. It's made so many artists' life easier. Some people will complain that they have a lot of allergic reactions to it. I don't think I've ever had an allergic reaction to it. Not one. In every case where I've made a mistake in putting the bandage on, it's actually movement. It's movement. If you stop the skin from moving, say it's on a shoulder cap or something like that, or you stretch the bandage as it's going on. Sanoderm, let me explain it first, is a clear membrane. You can see right through. It doesn't allow liquids through it, so you can jump in the bathtub, no problem. But it also holds in, because it doesn't allow liquids through, it also doesn't allow them out, so it holds in a certain amount of plasma and blood, which is also no problem. It's coming from you. It should be clean, should be safe. As long as it feels comfortable underneath there, you don't have to worry about taking it off. Bam. All right, that's Sanoderm. Let's move on to the other products. This is pretty much just for tattoo artists and apprentice. FK Irons Borg tattoo machines. Borg tattoo machines has just been really, really good to me. They make a high quality coil machine, and they have a couple of rotaries out now too, I believe. No offense, guys, I wasn't that impressed with the rotary. It wasn't bad. It was a tiny little thing, but with machines like FK Irons coming out now, if you're not looking at the prices, FK Irons, that's where you go. Great company. For me, they've always stood behind their product. They've replaced engines for me when there was a defective engine once I got. And honestly, I don't even know how defective it was. They were just really cool about it. I think that I may have been slowing the machine down as I was changing my cartridges by pressing. Where I hold the needle when I change my cartridges, I've learned just to turn the machine off, even if they say it's fine. Because I bog the machine down, because I grab it by that little ink well, and it slows the armature, or the aperture, it slows the arm, it slows the little rod. I don't know what else to call it now. I've forgotten. The little push rod that is inside of the cartridge. When I take them off, I slow that slightly, and I think I was slowing it down. So I learned not to do that, not to take them apart like that. Turn it off when I take them out, and I've never had a problem with the engine since. I've had this last engine for some years, I think, which is a long time. The last motor, I should say. FK Irons, top of the line, best. They're always research and developing. They're always developing the next new, and that's what I like about them. Besides that, they're based in America, so it's easier to get a hold of customer service, and it's easier to deal with parts or shipping or things like that. I'm not a big fan of getting machines outside of America for just those purposes. I used to deal with Hawk, and I'm not a big fan of Hawk. There's a girl that comes around at the shows, and we've kind of become estranged. I forgot her name already, I guess. She's a sweet enough girl. She took over the things here, and according to her, she's working hard at making sure that Hawk stands behind their product here in America. They may be. I haven't dealt with them since I've had problems. Probably like 7-8 years ago now, though. In dealing with them overseas, because you're talking to somebody talking German, and you're trying to, and they were. So if you send your machine in for them to even see if they're going to warranty it or something like that, it's going to take about a week to get there, a week to get back, and then whatever time they need to free up the manpower to go over that machine to determine whether or not you fucked it up or it was a defect. And generally, you fucked it up. That's what I find, and that's what they're going to tell you, and that's how they blame it, and that's how it goes. So although Hawk makes some really good machines, I don't doubt that their machines are great for some people. FK Irons is right on the cutting edge of tattooing, and I believe they're pushing the edge further, making your life easier and easier with the machines. It's just, they just keep getting better. Pretty soon, it's going to be, I don't even know. We'll have to almost regress, because we're almost there, actually. Some people regress to coil machine. Hey, let's laugh about coil machines for a second, although I love them and use them, and I also know how to tune them, which is an archaic art that is lost, and it doesn't even need to be. So, or it doesn't need, you don't need to know it anymore because of rotaries. But let's laugh about coil machines for a second when people say they're loyal to the coil. Isn't that hilarious? Zach, how loyal are you? If something came along that made your job better, easier, made your product better for your client, um, don't you owe it to yourself to try it, right? And if you try it, then how loyal are you to the coil? Let me explain in the analogy of a marriage. If I tried out other vaginas in my marriage and then I decided that I liked the original one better, and I'm not going to be able to honestly say that I'm loyal to that vagina because I tried other vaginas, right? Um, so I don't know. Loyal to the coil always makes me laugh because no, you're not. And if you are, aren't you also kind of stupid? If you are actually loyal to the coil, are you holding back your own ability to do better tattoos simply because it rhymes? You found a slogan that works for you or something. You know? Like, I don't know, all the cool people I know, they say things like loyal to the coil, so I'm just sticking with it. I'm loyal to it. You're not loyal. Did you try a rotary? Well, of course I tried a rotary. First one I tried I didn't like. All right then. You're not loyal. Okay? Give up the idea of loyalty to the coil because you did try the rotary. At any rate, rotary machines, if you're moving into this field of art, tattooing, in my opinion, the best way to go. However, knowing that you get a good one can be very tough. When I was young, I tried out the rotaries, a lot of them. But what I did was I went on eBay, that's what we used back in the day, and I bought the cheap Chinese knockoffs. It's terrible of me to admit this, I know, but I did. I bought them because there were so many options out there. I didn't know what I would like. And I figured the cheap ones, and they were very cheap sometimes. I was spending as little as $14 on some of those machines. It's funny to laugh about. I would usually buy two of them. Actually, some of them were as cheap as $7, and I say 14 because I would buy two of them, because you had to rob one to make the other one work. You had to get inside, steal parts. I mean, some of them are so cheaply designed. I don't recommend this necessarily unless you're just trying out features of tattoo machines to see how you like them. And of course, the problem is as you're trying them out, you're experimenting on your clients, which is something I guess I've never really been that afraid of, so I've done it. Some of my award-winning tattoos that were actually done with $7 rotary machines from eBay. These little plastic shiny things. They look like they're metal. They're not. You get them, and one of them's already broken. You rob the parts from one to make the other one work, and then it lasts for about a month before either the mechanisms start to wear out and they don't work as smoothly anymore, or it lasts about a month before something breaks, something bound to break on them. But they gave me a chance to try out all these features that were coming up. I don't know if I'd recommend that as much nowadays. Because you just can't. They're so similar now. I don't know that you can try out those features. See, I wanted to try out the give options on things like the dragonflies when they were coming out. If you recall that, you probably don't. It's a long time ago. I want to try some of the features of the stigma. I wanted to find something that gave me give in an optimal range. Because a coil machine gives you give, if you will. When it enters the skin, it bogs down a little bit and then doesn't go as deep. However, what we find with rotaries is if it's perfectly hard hitting, you can generally use that to tattoo anything. You just have to approach the skin slightly different depending on what you're trying to get. Which I'm probably giving too many tips now. I just really wanted to say Sanoderm, awesome product. Borg tattoo machines, awesome coil machines. And good customer service. And then FK irons, my favorite, my top of the line favorite. I don't get given these things. I have been given some of their older machines. FK gave me some of their older machines when I was on the show. Of course, they wanted their machines on the show, so those were awesome. I had some of these Spectres, and they were great. A little bit more vibrating, and then we got to the Edge and the Edge X, and the vibrations slowed down. That was nicer, so I liked that better. And then we went to the pens, and I'm still stuck on the Zion pen. I know they got the new one with the battery, and I have used that when I was on the cruise line. When I was tattooing on Virgin Voyages, they had the shop stocked up, and so they had FK Iron's newest machine That's a nice machine. However, the Zion Edge, yeah, Zion is very similar. I didn't, the actual tattooing of it, I didn't notice any difference. It's just I have a battery pack on the top that makes it slightly top heavy. So it's not as nice as the new FK irons that has the battery pack right inside. And there's probably some things that he's done, that they have done to make them work optimally better. I'm sure, I mean, every time they progress, they really try. Oh, wow. Did I just do that? I'm sorry. Let me see if I can find my. Oh, good. It is still recording. I just fucked up my whole microphone setup. Well, we're just going to publish this as it is. I'm sorry I've already been talking 10 minutes. But you're just a tattoo artist, so you should be used to this kind of stuff, right? We're getting information here. I think that's it. That's all I have to say. FK irons, Sanoderm, Borg tattoo machines, great products. Let's talk about ink. What ink do I like to use? A lot. I've tried a lot of different inks. So I've tried Eternal ink, which to me that's the standard. Okay, that is the high quality standard that all other inks need to meet to. In me putting it in the skin, for me, that's my comparison standard, if you will. That's my control group. Is that? I don't know if that's right for science, but so let's say Eternal ink. It's made here in Michigan. It's made by some people that I know. It's made by Eternal Tattoos. I used to work for them, and I really found it to be the best ink. I've tried other inks. There's good things about other inks, but for me, Eternal was the right consistency. Its mixing was easier for me. It's a little bit thicker than some of the inks that I mix, and when you mix thin ink, it's harder to control because I mix in the tube a lot, so it's harder to control all of those pieces, all of the, like when you use thin, because now you dip your old ink, you dip it in your new ink cap, and now that new ink cap is, excuse me, if you dip blue into a white, now that white is tainted with that blue. In a thicker ink, I can dip in the blue, and then I'll turn off my machine, wipe the edge of the tube, and just scoop up a little bit of the thick white ink, and then I'll mix it right in the tube, and then my white ink is untainted. It's not light blue now, if you follow me. With the thinner inks, you can't do that as easy. As soon as you dip down in, they start, trading atoms or bonds, covalent bonds, and now it's that color. That being said, Industry ink is a good ink. It's emerging now. I think it's the new good ink. Fusion ink was a good ink. It was if you follow the story of it, it goes on for a while actually. Some of the same people have been making these high quality inks for some time now. So the guy that made Eternal, he went and that helped make Eternal. He went and changed his formula and went to Fusion some many years back, and then he was done with Fusion, and as I understand it now, I could be way wrong about this, don't quote me, I believe he is now possibly working with Industry. I could be wrong. I do know that I've tried Industry ink. They dropped off a whole brick of it to me one time, Matt, and thank him for it. Matt, that was awesome. And I used that for some time. I really liked the ink. Still have a few of them left over, but I think they're outdated now, so they're just in a drawer. Sometimes I do paintings with my old ink, so I don't throw them out. I used to actually. I don't anymore. Now I use paint, so I shouldn't even say that. I just don't throw them out now because I'm an idiot. I'm lazy, so I don't go through my inks in the drawer. Once they get old, they go in the drawer, and then I plan on using them for art projects, and then I never do. That's all I can say about ink. Villain Arts, I can talk about Villain Arts though. Go to it. Villain Arts, best tattoo convention circuit. Look them up, go to it. If you're an apprentice, go to it. Ask questions. Don't be afraid to be annoying. It's how I got into this industry. People told me no a lot. I didn't give a fuck. The first time I went to a tattoo convention, I picked up a tattoo machine, and I asked the guy there how much for that gun, and he ripped it out of my hand, and he said it wasn't for sale to me. And that was my first experience at a show. I didn't let that, though, stop me from going back. I've been to many shows. I went to other people, and I even talked to them about why he just stole that machine out of my hand. But I was still calling it a gun, and that's when somebody explained to me, he's like, well, we don't like it when you call our the product that we make so other people can make great art. When you call it a gun, it's different. We plan on pointing it at somebody to create beauty and art, not to end life. Um, and that's what guns' purpose is, to threaten life. So ink should not, or is a machine, should not necessarily be interchanged with gun. Nowadays, people are a lot easier about it. I'm not going to get mad at you. I'm just going to laugh a little bit about your ignorance under my breath and allow it to hold you back, not me. You know, and that's where the industry's at nowadays. There's a lot more competition back then, a lot more angst about your place inside of tattoos. Nowadays, people will help you a lot more. Man, 15 minutes. All right, way too much. Thanks for listening. We'll be on here with some other tips and tidbits for you.